What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EraBodys podcast, where generations collide and cultures combine. Today we got a great show for you, and it's something special. But before we even introduce our guests, I want y'all to know it's your boy, Ricky.
And I'm the Honorable Darren D. Purnell, the street speaker himself. What's going on, Rick?
What's going on, D?
Man, we got a special guest here. This the first time on the show ever we let somebody do. You got to be special. We let you do the whole show with us. I brought my big brother, found him out the ninth wall, you know how that is.
And here you go again, huh?
But Brother Hakim, man, a great influential brother to us, to this city, man, an asset, and we got him in studio with us for the whole show today, Rick.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. So introduce him.
Let's go, brother. Introduce yourself. I want you to introduce yourself like you will always introduce yourself to the world. Let them know who you is and what you do.
Brother Hakim Kashif, grew up in the Ninth Ward, 7 of 10 children, come from a middle-class family. Most of my life grew up on the lower Ninth Ward, down the street from the Holy Cross. And then my mom's side of the family is the Desire Project, so I had a chance to see both worlds. But then I matriculated myself from, Robert R. Moulton. I went to Moulton in the Desire Project. I was the only one of the siblings because my parents was very heavy on parochial education. So while I was going to Robert R. Moulton, my little younger siblings, they was going to St. Maurice.
Right.
And then from Moulton, I went to Bell, another thing, they wanted, because I wanted to go to Bell so bad because I was thinking, sports and stuff, played at Sampson Park.
Right.
And while I'm at Bell, my siblings still at St. Maurice. And then when I got in the 8th grade, I had a different conversation at home with my father and my mother, and they introduced to me that for the 9th grade, you going to San Augustine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And if you pay attention to the show, not to cut you off, but Senator Duplessis was also a St. Augusta high school graduate, went there, and that's the most prolific African American Catholic school that we have in the city of New Orleans.
Yes, since 1951 it was established. So when I matriculated myself from Bell to San Augustine, my father used to always say, because we used to eat at the table was there at the head, and Pops used to always say, you pay for what you want.
Right.
So, and I understood that you pay for what you want, and so by me going to San Augustine, I remember my freshman year, my parents had to sign this consent form to get the paddle, because St. Aug was about discipline. Mm-hmm. You fail a test, paddle. Your tie, your top of your collar ain't buttoned up. It's for the paddle lag is in the center of the aisle when you go into class. Yeah. So St. Augustine shaped and formed me, and it reinforced the values system that my parents had raised me underneath. Mm-hmm. By coming underneath the Catholic family structure, eating all fish every Friday with potato salad. Mm-hmm. So with me going to St. Augustine, it fell right on in, and then having that business look. And so when I left St. Augustine, I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge. But in the midst of me, in my senior year at St. Augustine, spent the more time of my life in the Desire Project, catching that Galvez bus, not going across the canal, but getting off by Kester Louise and going to the Desire.
Right.
And being by my grandmother's side, because we had a candy truck in the project.
Right.
My sister Lisa and Jackie used to run the candy truck. So I'm back there every day, and I'm seeing some things that I didn't see growing up in the middle class family.
So what I'm hearing is 79.
79.
So you're a 79, huh?
79.
All right, there we go. You got it.
I am, because I would not be who I am today, but won't be from that 7-wall high school.
All right, before we get in it further, we got this thing we call What's Going On.
What's going on, D?
Man, it never stopped, man. I was rooting on a brother to get more months or whatever, but Derrick Grove have been captured by the Atlanta PD and squad, but they say the tip came from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I seen you got a new truck on, Rick.
Oh, well, I know you ain't switched that on me. I told you when you said that you was doing what's going on about Derrick Groves, you tipped the people off.
When you think about it, he had 5 months.
Yeah, that was a
what
good
would you
run.
think? That was a good run
That's a
to
good
escape?
Run. That's a good run. I feel like he shouldn't have been in Atlanta, though. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it was a good run. And I wish the brother would have stayed gone longer.
I'm gonna ask you, when you say he shouldn't have been in Atlanta, don't you think it's a good mix? Because that's where black people at. So you get
I feel like it's too rural. You know what I'm saying? Not rural, I mean, but it's too city. It's too much city. Like,
So the getting
police
pulled,
are heavy.
if you get pulled over or something like
yeah,
that,
I
it's
feel
more
like he
chance.
should have been and made his way to
What you think of
a
Jackson?
rural area. Jackson, yeah, they got more country town out there. I feel like for
That's and I was
something
feeling the same
high
thing
like
on
that.
a ranch or whatever,
Yeah.
something that way far away. What you think, Brother Hakim?
From a FIP perspective, I'm not surprised because when you get a chance to get out of an environment like that and you go to Atlanta, that means that was some spontaneous move when the prison got out and you broke out.
Yeah.
No money, no food, and no shelter,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a plan in place. But they have a plan in place.
Yeah.
The United States Marshals, the FBI,
Yeah.
Right.
the counter,
Yeah.
the counterintelligence agencies didn't plan on the condition and minds of the people,
Mm-hmm.
and people constantly, keeping them in the news. So eventually, I know that the Marshals was gonna track that brother down.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah.
and I'm not surprised that they caught him when it was close to time for elections for the sheriff office.
Huh.
I'm not
So
surprised.
you think they've been
Right.
tipped off?
Oh, they've been no way, man.
Yeah.
Let's tell you. But just like at the same time when the current mayor was indicted, right? When this thing was, it looked like a tide was changing, the electoral process here. And so when that happened, that's put something in the minds of our people about black leadership. We can't trust black leadership.
propaganda. Huh?
Yeah, of course, man. But
Wow.
it's all subtle.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right.
I ain't even look at it like that.
I would say when it comes down to the brother, all of them, he got the farthest, which means that when they took the polls, they picked him to stay out the longest, and he had more resources. I guess he had more, you could say, more people around him willing to take that chance because they was willing to give you 20 years for helping, and I think that backed off a lot. But like you're saying, Rick, I would have been more on a ranch farm, some acres where I could be that far back where they want to see me.
He would have still got caught, honorable, because you really, you really got to be in that space, and when they open it up, and because I can recall I was at the lowest institution on a federal level is a minimal security environment, which is a federal prison camp, and some of them don't have no like fencing. You could just wake up on them and say, "Man, I can't tell you I'm gone."
Yeah.
You could just walk off.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody was walking off, brother.
Right.
So that's on a federal level,
Yeah.
brother.
So
just think about
Yeah.
that. They're the breakout. In a federal, you could just walk off, brother.
So people get life in affairs too?
Yes, indeed, brother. Got
Okay.
a lot of people with life.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that's what he was facing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what he's facing.
For violent, the
Yeah.
federal system, when you get life sentences, it be mostly like when it was violence involved with a drug case.
Yeah.
But in the state, it be more violence, you
Yeah.
know. So,
I'm asking this question. So the extra charges that brought on him, that's not federal charges. That's just regular charges. That's
it's probably gonna be all federal because he went to another state.
so.
Yes.
So-
They had to extradite him back.
And
Like that.
in that situation, what would they make him do? His fair time first?
I
'Cause
don't
he
really
might-
know if they're gonna, if the fast is going, because we never really know if they indicted him or not.
Yeah.
Right.
But we know he have an escape charge on him, and so if you escape from a prison, the feds can pick that up.
Yeah.
Because it was the marshals that spearheaded this.
Yeah.
Because that's what the U.S. Marshals do. They look for fugitives.
Yeah.
They hunters.
So, well, they have him on, and he was, like you say, he facing a life sentence. So, and we send our prayers and wishes out for the brother, the family, and everything. But
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
but 10 people breaking out, that's it.
I thought you said they walked out, huh?
That's what we gonna ride with that 10-0 walk. We gonna
They
take a
walked
vote.
out.
We gonna put a vote out because it's looking now from the evidence and what people saying that it's not up for discussion or debate that, and we got a close source that was saying that she was at the jail and ain't know nothing happened, and she was working at the jail.
Yeah.
So, and she said when she looked on Instagram and they said somebody broke out, she thought it was a game because she was working at work that night.
Yeah.
And
You
so
talking about this the sheriff?
at the sheriff department, they had a worker. Yeah, they had a worker that was at the jail the night of the escape. She looked at her phone and saw that the escape happened. She thought it was a game. But she was there. So I guess when the investigation come out, we'll see everything. But the election is over now, so
It's still in the minds of the people of how that happened, and I think that was one of the main reasons that whatever she had going on as leadership, it began to decay, because it's not something that happened. When you look at this from a research perspective, yes, people have broke out of prisons before, but we could not find in this city that the people that broke out of Angola before. But it's just strange that this prison, that was constructed by supposed to be the greatest architectural minds, put together the right cement, the great flow runners, whoever used to put this prison together, how can 10 people, just think about this. First of all, where you get a hammer from? Where you get the tools? Yeah. I've been to prison, brother. These things is not just something I'm laying in the
just
bunk
pop up and
I
you just see it on side the bunk.
I'm just, man, I got a hammer, chisel, man. This ain't like the Shawskin Redemption, bro. Come on, man. It's real life.
Right.
And even that dude in that prison movie, he had a chisel, a little bit. He bought a little tool. So somebody that was familiar with tools or construction probably aided and abetted. We don't really know, man.
Right.
But it's strange because, like, once again, it was around the time.
Election time.
They could call me what you want, but ain't nothing happening by coincidental.
The next thing that we have in this city, we have two things. It was the Breezy Bowl. Chris Brown shut the whole city of New Orleans down. Everybody and their mama was there. They had a good time. You heard any reviews on Rick?
I don't know. I mean, coming from the quarters, I did. I seen people trying to track down this man bus. Chris had him from wall to wall. That was one of his songs, huh? Wall to wall. You hear me? It's always good. I like Chris Brown, man. I like Chris Brown. I grew up to Chris Brown. I still listen to Chris Brown. I feel like dude the man. You hear me? Much respect.
I've been hearing one thing. I'm a Chris Brown fan, but I've been hearing some unfair comparisons what they've been doing with Chris. They've been comparing Chris to the greatest who ever did it.
Who that?
Michael Jackson.
The one and only.
Mike?
Nah,
they've been comparing Chris
there
saying
ain't no comparison to them two. Mike had people falling out.
And when I seen, I had to show somebody. No, it's a whole different thing.
Ambulance come from Mike.
Look, I'm gonna show you. It's so unfair that Chris Brown give concerts inside of boxes, arenas, stadiums. Mike got to give his world tour outside because it ain't no room inside.
Yeah.
And when you show how far your eye can see and people fainting, he ain't say a word yet. If you pay attention to Mike when he first come out, he just stand and give you that look and they fainting. EMT on standby.
Yeah.
When he come.
Well, back in the day too, their legs were more weak back then too.
But look, Medicaid used to hate Michael Jackson. They say, "Oh no, too many fainting, or whatever."
They were from all racial lines.
Yeah, all racial lines. But I think the brother, what I like, and I hear, I never been in one of his shows, but from the men and women, they say he give you your money's worth. He give you a show.
He's a great entertainer.
He's a great entertainer. So he live up to extra. Not all of them do it. They in an entertainment business, but not all of them give you your money's worth. But they say that brother, he give it to you.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, you say Mike, back in the day too, they didn't have as much social media. So the way he was able to get the word out about his artistry and, turn people to believers, I feel like that's phenomenal. Right now, social media play a lot, of the success within the success of these artists these days. But don't sleep on Chris Breezy, though. He charging like, what, $1,000?
That's how much it was?
For the chicks to come and take a picture with him? Well, whoever to come and take a picture with him. And they paying that $1,000 to come and see him.
They said Chris messing up relationships. See, Mike ain't do that. Mike ain't do that.
Man, if you fell out in front of your man back in the day, I'm pretty sure you messed that relationship up. Yeah, Mike messed some homes up. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And they taking pictures with him.
Yeah, they want the pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, just for him to, hug him or whatever, make it look real.
And women, you could be a fan. The acronym for fan is help me out. What is fan is the short version of
a fanatic.
Fanatic. So you messing up your whole relationship for what 5 minutes, and you ain't even at least get to sleep with him. At least back in the day, they say I slept with Marvin Gaye, I slept with Luther. What back then the rumors was you not even getting to sleep with him, and you going to do all that to shake on him to mess up your relationship. Come on, women.
Yeah,
you got to think better than that. If you want out the relationship, just leave the relationship, but don't throw it away like that. You all over social media. You messed up your relationship, and now you got nothing. You back home with the look. I danced with Chris Brown for 5 minutes. That it just put it together. You're not getting a win.
So you don't. I mean, is a problem for you. If your woman was to want to go and take a picture with Chris Breeze, there's a problem?
Taking a picture is one thing, but some of the pictures that they taking is just you not respected as a man. You still with her and she did that? You should be willing to speak up for her. Any dude on the street could tell her something. You shouldn't be willing to speak up for no woman like that or whatever. If she what you think, big bro?
Man, I agree, man. It's got to be some type of standard set. I understand the brother is a great entertainer, and then also you got to look at it too. A lot of women is caught up in the moment, and then you got to think about it too. Who's gonna invest $1,000 in a picture that ain't gonna bring you no residual income?
Yeah.
It just got to make sense to me. Okay, I'm taking this $1,000 picture. Cause that's the street hustle coming to me. Okay, I'm taking this $1,000 picture, but I'm gonna use this picture when I go out and do something. I'm gonna sell this picture. I'm gonna make me some money off this picture. But they ain't making that. Did something to go in the house on the wall, and you gave $1,000.
And he closed out in New Orleans, so I respect her from looking at New Orleans as that city. But we have another controversy on this. I think tonight, huh?
Yes.
Sunday and Monday.
You have 2 days?
You got 2 days here.
Yeah.
Louisiana's on, Baton Rouge on, Young
NBA Youngboy.
NBA
so
Youngboy.
Gonna be in the Smoothie Center tonight and tomorrow.
Oh,
he
no,
got 2 days.
Who? Chris Brown?
No,
NBA
NBA Youngboy. He got 2 days.
This a different person. NBA Youngboy.
Young YMB gonna be 2 days straight. NBA, gonna have 2 days straight.
Yeah.
They say 2 days.
Yeah.
Now I don't know why it's 2 days. Other cities it wasn't. I guess because they must have closed, canceled somewhere else. But they gave him 2 days down here.
That's huge.
So with 2 days, but they treating him like they did NWA when they had the F the police or whatever. They really don't want him in the city, technically. But with him being in New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, the tips, Pensacola, Dustin, they get to drive in, go to the concert, then drive home.
Yeah.
You just need one sober partner, and you can take that drive. You ain't got to pay for no hotel or nothing. So I think that's why the city really don't want him down here. See, Taylor Swift, when she came down, she gonna draw the whole southern region.
Yeah.
So you got to come in and pay for a hotel. You could, if the concert tonight, we could just drive in.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a different type of audience too.
Yeah, it's a different art, but he's gonna bring people here.
Of course.
But so many locals got those tickets that between Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Dustin, Florida, Macomb, Mississippi, he got all that coming to the concert, and he didn't have to. They don't have to pay. You could just come in. You ain't got to get no hotel. You can come in, cut up at the concert, pay for parking. That's if you pay for parking and then shoot back out.
Yeah, but I feel like we deserve that too as citizens who want to see, an entertainer.
No, what I'm saying is that's why they don't want him in the city.
It's the same thing for Chris Brown. You got most of the locals who want to see Chris Brown.
Yeah, but I think that because it's Chris Breeze and they say it was a bowl, I think you'll spend a Friday and a Saturday in the city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
For him, you'll just come out here Friday night, and you'll stay Friday and the concert Saturday. With Youngboy, rap was in R&B's is two different things.
They are, but you also say it's 2 days, right? So by it being 2 days, you're gonna get the locals out of the way, and then the out of towners gonna come in and flush him out. Plus, wherever he go, if he go to the mall, people gonna be in the mall. They get a taste of where he's gonna be at.
I'm gonna ask you a question. All three of us. We in Dustin right now. We got tickets to the concert.
Yeah.
Are we leaving out? The concert is 4:00 now. The concert starts for 8. It's an hour and 30 minutes to get to New Orleans. Are we gonna get a hotel? Or are we gonna drive in and go hang on Bourbon and then drive back?
Yeah, if you're speaking of Dustin, I'm going home.
I'm going home.
I'm going home.
The city ain't made no money off you.
Yeah,
but then you might have some people that come from Dustin and
might stay.
Because he got a different,
The rappers don't think like that. Boy, I'm not about to. Boy, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And then what he bring, his crowd bring. when they play his music, they ready to fight.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that they have. They're
Yeah.
trying to ban him from playing his music for high school games and everything.
Yeah.
But he can intervene on that, honorable, and cease that. All he have to do is allow those young people to know, hey man, I'm just a rapper,
Entertainer. You right.
entertainer.
Mhm.
I get paid for this artist.
Yeah.
Now beyond this, I don't want you all, but they don't do that. It's just a persona, man.
But
you
he
know?
addressed that too, after being incarcerated many a times, and on his last release, he actually made that same statement. Like, I'm an entertainer. I'm,
Yeah.
what I used to be into. Like, my life has changed.
Then the young brother got a process, and I think people are so much of interrupters in people process. You know, he's still favored, man. He got the potential to grow into God.
Exactly.
It's just with the right knowledge. He just don't have guidance around. I'm not saying that he don't have guidance around him. Maybe that the individual that's guiding him going through their process too.
Right.
So this thing about if he had somebody like Dr. Dre around him, you know, or somebody been in the industry, you know what I mean?
Shit, he got Floyd Mayweather around him.
Birdman around.
But then I believe that. Then,
Birdman.
but I think that Birdman is seasoned enough to detour that young guy.
I think Birdman, it's entertainment for him.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that he telling them. He the type that'll say amp it up some more because his more sales. I never known him to amp down or say stand down.
But that's what it's about too, But long as I feel like it's not wrong what type of music you make, right? Because you got football players need that type of adrenaline to go make a tackle. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's just addressing the audience and letting them know it's for entertainment purposes.
It's the messaging.
Yeah, it's the messaging. The messaging, that really matters.
This next one, it was tough for my brother Rick, but we here now. We have a new mayor in the city of New Orleans. We sending a congratulations to Elena Moreno.
Yes,
She have won without a runoff, which we was hoping for to get to it. We here now.
Yeah.
The election is over. I heard President Obama said when he won the second term, he looked at the whole Congress and the whole Senate and said, the election is over. Ain't no need for you to take shots. Let's work together. It's over. I won. So it's over. How can we work with her and enhance and advance this city forward?
I feel like it's a relief for me. Like, I lost so much sleep during the election simply because, I want New Orleans to move forward.
Yes, sir.
I have 3 younger boys.
Yes,
I
sir.
have a young daughter who all have to grow up here.
That's
You
right,
know what I'm
brother.
saying? I want New Orleans to move forward. But the thing that upset me the most, right, during the whole election that I lost sleep from was the mudslinging. Like, this was one of the most dirtiest, grimiest elections I ever seen. And it kind of disrupted my emotions towards, a bunch of influential people around here because I saw the bullying. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, I used to stand up for the wimpy kid. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing stuff like that, it was unattractive to me. You should have had some type of class as it pertains to an election. So I'm just glad it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But huge shout out to Helena Moreno.
Yes,
and
yes,
congratulations to you. We
Yes.
want to see you actually push this city forward because we have younger children who need to live here. They are our future.
And likewise, I send congrats out to Mayoral-elect Helena Moreno. She ran a great campaign. Even though in the midst of all the mud or whatever she had a strategy. She ran a strategical campaign, and she had some very influential people on her side. She had the Vice President of the United States, man, Kamala Harris. But then when I went back to do research on Mayoral-elect, I found out that, and I say this out of respect, man, she did a lot of work. She worked on Vice President Kamala Harris' campaign. And not only that, when she went to school at SMU for journalists, she come from a great family. Mom is an educator because I study people, And so she took an intern job at the White House. Then she went to several local areas and became a reporter. And then she came here as a journalist. She won an award. So she's very polished as far as being in front of the camera, and then not saying things to offend people.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that, you know, yes, New Orleans could be this particular percentage, and I think that as New Orleans, that at some point we got to realize that this is not the era when Johnny Jackson won the city councilman all the time, and Johnny Jackson was a man of a different type of politician you see today. Johnny Jackson had values. If you got in trouble, Rick, he was coming to your mom's house to free you. Went to Carver, a street named after him. But he was not the politician that nobody said it was in his pocket or he was in their pocket. No, you got in trouble. If he could help, he helped. And so we're in a different era. And so for you to say that you were saying, and I was going through the same thing because I was trying to wrap this around my mind, is that you have two front candidates. Then you have one candidate, Brother Royce, I'm going to run, then I'm not going to run. But then I am going to run. And then I think that was like, you know, separated. Then you have a very popular politician in Oliver Thomas.
Yeah.
But then you had a lot of individuals who was, you know, standing tall and putting up different receipts concerning his councilmanship in the New Orleans East area. And I think that played a major part. And one thing I can say that, last thing, and y'all can agree with this, mayoral-elect never got on the mic and talked about Oliver Thomas' past.
You're right.
She
didn't.
So that's class act.
She wasn't slinging the mud. It was her campaign.
I know that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hold on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to come back. I don't want Rick to give his opinion on it. I want also. This episode is sponsored by EraBodys Coffee. Welcome back, man. And we in New Orleans, I think one of the things, not only how each campaign person, because they had 11 altogether. We only talk about the big three. So shouts out to the independents that ran, everyone that ran. And I was watching a commercial the other day, Rick, and the man was on TV encouraging young people to run. And when he was doing it, Rick, they got so many elected positions that's open that young people just don't run. When I say young people, I'm not even talking about 18. I'm talking about like 30, 35. So what it will take for us to get young people enthusiasm about to start taking some of these seats?
I feel like it's the knowledge that we lack. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm 30. I'll be 35 tomorrow, Monday, October 20th.
Oh,
to all the fans, you hear me?
Beautiful.
But I feel
Happy
like,
birthday, bro.
appreciate it. But I feel like it's the knowledge thing. You know what I'm saying? The older generation, like some brothers, like Brother Hakim, you know what I'm saying? Some brothers give back. But a lot of people into politics and stuff, they want you to feel intimidated by them because they know that the younger people don't know that, oh, all right, we actually put you in office.
Right.
So I feel like it's intimidation a lot of times too.
I right now, Rick, council person, I feel as though you could do a job if you was on the ballot.
Yeah, I feel
Legislate. I feel as though you are Hakeem out of respect, not just because I'm a homebody.
No,
When I'm around you and you get the work done.
yeah.
So
Personally.
then you respect what I like. One of the things I always tell you this: you respect the generations.
Yeah.
So you're able to work with everybody,
Yeah.
and you cross over. I go places and Rick crossed over the white line, the Hispanic. He introduced me to people that normally I'd be in my box. And, you know, you going to come introduce yourself to me. I ain't running behind. Rick said, I work with this person, I work with him. So I think to see legislator Ricky Joseph.
Yeah. I mean,
Councilman.
I ain't going to lie, probably down the line because I still want to have the right knowledge behind it. Like, I'm in the streets. I'm in a community.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
When you say that, they're learning on the job. So why it's never going to be perfect. From the time I met him with the knowledge he give on me, it's never going to be perfect. So if you try to wait to get to where you think I think that if we going to go for it, why not now?
Yeah.
I think for my opinion, for Brother Rick, you're right, because you have to become civically engaged. You already are civically engaged. But when I was going to Southern University in New Orleans, and I was elected as the SGA president. What they robbed me out of because of my past. It's another story. But listen to this. I had a great mentor, Dr. Clyde Robinson, another brother named Brother Joe Givens, mentored me around being civically engaged. I found out in college that it was us at Southern that had a mayoral debate. And in the second time at the mayoral debate, when Madam Contrell, Mayor Contrell, became the mayor, she came back to Suno, and I protected her from all the people from Pontchartrain area. But my point is that it took somebody like me that was revolutionized on that campus.
Yeah.
Because Suno is asleep. Consciously.
Yeah.
I was not asleep.
Right.
And so I was able to ranch up the different areas of individuals, Greek, whatever, and get them together in a space so that we could become civically engaged. But I found out about this, and it's very important, and it's not being negative. At the current HBCU, because I'm a proud graduate of one, they're not the same of the HBCU when Dr. King went to Morehouse, when Thurgood Marshall went to Howard. Howard is still civically engaged, Tuskegee, Morehouse, but when you look at the Xavier University and the Dillard University and Southern University of New Orleans, it is a shame that the student population is not civically engaged, brother. And when you're talking about the politics and running for office, Brother Rick does have the appeal.
Right.
But when he get on that college campus and trying to get them to become registered voters, I think that he can.
Right.
Because what hurt the college campus students is that elected officials never go build a relationship with them. They only come around when they want their vote.
Exactly.
And that's not right.
Right.
So that's why they're not civically engaged. That's why they're like, man, I'm not with none of that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, when you look at the 3 age gaps between us and it fit our own title, EraBody, what it is that dropped the ball, you didn't drop the ball with me, I didn't drop the ball with Rick. What it is about some people that don't see, you know I'm coming behind you. So it's your best interest to prepare me. It's in my best interest to get Rick ready because I know what's coming. What it is about this generation, like it's clueless, like you say on a college campus, even in the high schools, it's just like, I would say we was more conscious.
In the homes, period. In the homes, like everything really started from home. And, I grew up in a single family home. You know what I'm saying? So the character that I built on a perception of what I wanted, what I didn't want for my children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And once I went to prison, because I also did time in prison too.
Okay, yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? My wife, she was there. I wasn't able to see my child walk.
And that's beautiful,
And,
brother.
she held it
was there.
down. You know what I'm saying? But when I got there, I was like, man, I done took so much from so many people. I want to give back.
Right.
She helped me structure the nonprofit organization, and we ran with it. But I saw myself pouring of what I wanted back into other kids I felt like was in similar positions as I was in. You know what I'm saying? So now it then turned into this whole concept. All right, I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to teach my kids. So my kids been on the ground with me since they was like 3 years old. But I think everybody don't have that mindset.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Not to cut you off, you didn't heard me say this one time. I didn't say it again. I didn't say it 10 times on this show. I tell men this all the time. Rick, you didn't heard me say it. When you find a woman that's behind you, she can help elevate you and get you to levels that you never thought you would think you can get as a man.
Honorable Purnell, I'm on the witness stand. I can bear witness because without my
bear
wife,
witness. So hold on.
listen.
Oh, everybody put their hand up. Right hand. I bear witness. All right. So there's 3 men right here. Is bearing witness. All right.
Without
So
Michelle, man, I couldn't be in this chair today, man. She
just to
put
give you a
up with
history
me
lesson.
so much, man.
Last night while I'm up, Rick, I'm watching Andy Young. If you don't know who Andy Young is, Andrew Young, he was Martin Luther King right-hand man.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't know Martin Luther King's story, just to get fast track it, you go do your history yourself. Martin Luther King was at Morehouse at 15.
That's right.
Andy Young was at Howard at 16. How often do you meet somebody of your education level? That's hard as one. So as they start working together, they realized that their wives met. When their wives met, he said, when I first heard Martin Luther King, I ain't really think, much of them like big. My wife met his wife, and that's where it started at, or whatever. And that put them on a run to change the world or whatever together. But I will say that, the wife, you heard Rick just tell a hell of a story. I went down there or whatever. A lot of times I see a lot of men failing because they picked the wrong woman. They got looks. She could be you. Everybody would like a beautiful wife. But to have a strong woman on side of you that believe in that vision, man, and I got a front row seat of it, y'all. I see it all the time.
Yeah, you sure.
She bosses me around just like she bossed Rick around.
but that's a beautiful thing, man, because that's the same testimony for my life, bro. When I be who I am, because I tell everybody, my wife polished me up.
Yeah, of course.
I'm keeping it real. I can't, like some people be like, man, I came across this. There's not a book. And I heard Minister Farrakhan give illustration of how powerful the black woman is, because imagine a washing machine go through every cycle but not being able to rinse the clothes. Mm-hmm. That's the black woman. Not putting on no level like that, but without her to wrench out all the things that don't go with you, to deal with you. And that's, I thank God for my wife so much, bro.
Me too, my fiance.
Because most of the time when I get on live, I always like keep her, but man, I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Ain't no need to be around it. Yeah, man. I respect my
As
queen,
bro.
When she's a private person, that's why I be doing that.
Yeah.
Mine too. And I noticed the same thing, which I'm always around on Rick's wife. For mine, they carry the same character on Rick's. It's not, I don't have to be seen in such a provocatory way or whatever. And you see that a lot. But I always say, I wrote my bio and I handed it to her. When she gave it back to me, I had to figure out to live up to the bio that she wrote. I was like, this not what.
Because when I walked in, y'all saw a line. Mm-hmm. She looked like you, and you look like her. Y'all
was that my brother? Was we brother and sister?
Because that means y'all are really like one.
And man, when I talk about,
gave you what you supposed to have.
And I admire that so much.
I know you gave me what I supposed to have.
Yeah. So not to get back off topic, to get back on track, brothers. We gave y'all advice. That's the key to the game. If you find one, that you don't need a group up. You just need one that believe in a dream, whatever you get that.
Right. I ain't got no halo on my head. I got a lot of blisters. I'm blooded up. Bro.
Right. So now we go.
Let me I won't finish the statement too. I gave y'all a little briefing about the story, but I feel like the young brothers, because the single family homes, right? You growing up in that type of environment, you don't even know who you are.
Yes.
Less known, trying to take on the world. When you in a political seat and people believe in you, that's like taking on the world. Yes. Like you really got a cape on without a cape.
And not just to help you out with it a little bit. That's why history is my favorite subject. And these people that admire it now, I go look up. When I watched Dr. King's story, Rick, he admired now, but a lot of that was figuring it out. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know, but I believe it's almost like that, and that's why faith, belief, a good wife. I know where we should go at, but the road don't look like it's supposed to. It don't look like we can travel it down to go do these things or whatever, to be an attack, ridicule your family. So he didn't. I think that if and I use this example, during Hurricane Katrina, a man left for both of us and told us that the phones on Esplanade and Claiborne was working. So we get in a boat. The bayou right there on Bayou Road in Orleans. And they got the little bridge that you go over. Instead of going over the bridge, we went on side of it. We get down there, it wasn't enough. We came back. So the next day, we getting out to go to Winn-Dixie. My cousin said, man, I was nervous when we was on the boat. I said, what you was nervous for? He said, when we went on side of the bayou, I thought if we would have flipped over, we was going to drown. He brought me awareness to what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. All the time when we going, I never know that the bayou was about 17 feet. Yeah. I never know. I just did it because I know that's what we need to do.
It's in flight mode. Yeah.
So survival. I'm saying that if Dr. King would have known I could be assassinated, I could be killed, this going to happen to my family, knowing too much sometimes make you not do it. Mm-hmm. It's me not knowing that keep you going. Sometimes some things you just don't know.
I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah,
That's a good perspective,
but sometimes you just don't know.
But think about this too. You hear people in our community say proverbial adages like, what you don't know won't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. See, that's from a mindset of ignorance, bro.
Yeah.
Because this say if you go to the doctor and for annual checkup and he see a spot on your kidney and he say to himself as a doctor, what he don't know, it ain't gonna hurt him. And he have cancer. See, what you do know protect you. What you don't know will hurt you. Ain't no such thing. What you don't know won't hurt you. Yes, that hurts you the most when you don't know. So when you don't have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding about a very specific thing in life, that's going to hurt you. And that's why we can look at it as hurting us as a people because of the mindset. And when you was on that boat, whether you would have knew that water was 17 or not, you was in survival mode.
Yeah,
I did different.
I'm glad you just.
One more thing, but now with Dr. King, Honorable, what we got to understand is because we don't take this into accountability. Watch this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, Noble Drylee, Dr. King, all the great minds of people that came into 50s, the 60s. You got to understand the 1800s. They knew who their enemy were.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. And they had a strict diet of education about knowledge of self.
Right.
In the 60s and the 50s, Dr. King was saying black is beautiful. He met with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad around Black History Run in February. You feel me? Right before King got assassinated. But my point is, King knew what that role could lead to because he understood that in his course of speeches, we try to reduce him now to one specific speech, but King had revolutionary talk.
Yeah, in his last speech.
He understood that, so he knew he could be assassinated. He knew he had a higher calling on his life.
Yeah.
But he had knowledge, bro.
Right. I would say that you have to have some knowledge. Now, I ain't saying to walk blind. Yeah. What I'm saying is you have to have some. I won't think you could be a good councilman because you just a good person. It's the skills that you have. You might not have all of it, but who held a job, you have more than him. So if he could sit there,
of course,
if he could sit there, that's why I'm saying it. But you have to have knowledge. I won't give it to somebody that's empty or whatever.
But somebody should be past. But see, this brother is prime and ready.
Yeah.
And I think that we will get behind him and he will be most successful in God's will to get him there. But this the pioneer.
Yeah.
We see, Rick, this for example, this is what we don't do, but other ethnic communities do this. We see Rick up and coming. Why is it so hard for me to put into Rick what I already know? Rick got more years ahead than the 70-year-old man got my half. He got more behind him than ahead. You got more in front than behind.
Right.
You feel me? So he should pull into you this electoral process. Mr. Green, all of them knows out there who into politics and seeing your aspiration. But you know why we don't do that, brother? Because it's something got to be literally wrong with us. Those of us who say we season and see you making the mark towards and giving contribution to our community, and we don't intervene and say, you know what, I'm going to mentor this brother.
And that's exactly what I was about to go to. For any young person, you know what I'm saying, who want to indulge into politics or just being a leader in general. Right. I feel like a lot of the mentors, the true mentors, who gonna hold your ass accountable,
yes, sir,
they not there no more.
Right.
They are like, we have so many passive men in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course,
they let the young boys do anything in front of them. A lot of the time, they're enticing them to do the wrong things instead of get behind them and push them and steer them in the right direction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of justification that, the mentors with the air quotes are looking for, but to lead a young person down the wrong road, and I ain't speaking on myself, I'm speaking on, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a leader.
Because they're not really mentors.
They're not. They just steering us in the wrong way.
The president in Africa, he died. He was in power for 44 years, Mugabe.
Mugabe.
Now, he made a lot of great quotes, but he died as the president. I say it's a shame that he died and didn't have a successor behind him. That country, the country he was over, I can't think of the name right now. Zimbabwe. You know how terrible of a leader you have to be not to train somebody up. And you hear this quote all the time. The only man that really wants to see you succeed is your father. So I'm training my son up. When he do something better than me, I don't get no envious of him. Why the hell you think I'm putting all this work into
Yeah,
him?
that's right.
So, and I think that we don't live like that. He died 44 years in power, and nobody was in, and he didn't die of no airplane crashes out of nowhere. Sickly in his bed.
Yeah.
And you would say to yourself that if you really love Zimbabwe, why not have a leader ready to train, ready to go? And it's so crazy that New Norman, what the president, the chief of Harry Lee on his, before he was getting sick and all that, said New Norman gonna be the next sheriff of Jefferson Parish. The nerve of him to train New Norman up. When New Norman left out of office, he said Joe LaPinto gonna be the next, and sure enough, those three they picked a successor.
Yeah. But I know this shouldn't surprise you, bro. You know you got to understand that for example, if I'm a successful businessman, I own the bank, right, and I ran across Honorable, and then he introduced me to you. We're not about to be having no conversations until we meet in my office, and I'm asking both of y'all, starting with you and then the young brother, what it is that you're trying to do with your life,
right.
that I can help you.
Right.
That's the norm.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be how they're supposed to go.
Yeah, right.
And we got to get back to that, man.
Right.
You know what I mean, brother?
Right.
And that's a problem that I have with individuals older than me who are in these certain political, inspiring places, and they never reach back. Mm-hmm. They say they do, but listen, proof is in the pudding, man. Show me, because everything is documented.
Right.
Documentation ruling conversation today.
Yes.
Receipts. You just can't be talking about you saying this is happening, that happening, and people coming behind you with statistics saying it ain't happening.
Right.
So that's where I'm at, bro. If I ever in my life and be empowered and become the millionaire that I know I'm going to be, no one is going to say, man, Brother Hakim didn't reproduce other millionaires.
Yeah.
I am.
And I would say that I truly believe that because he's one phone call away. When I call, he answers on the first thing. So we're gonna twist it a little bit. We're gonna get into your life. We know you grew up and education was so important in your family.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that me and Rick know how significant education is? Do you think that's what got you in the situation that you're in now in advancing, enhancing, and going forward? Education. How important education is?
Education is very important, man, because education is a word at its root. Because one of the things I had to learn was the etymology of words. And I heard Minister Farrakhan give a real etymology of the root of education. So education comes from its Latin origin, educate, meaning to bring out of you what the Creator has already deposited in you, right? So being for as a secular education is what I received from St. Augustine. Like Carter G. Woodson said in Miseducation of the Negro, that the greatest education that you have is two. One the world gave you. That's what St. Augustine gave me. Southern, SUNY, Tulane,
right.
University of Chicago. But the education that you give yourself is the knowledge of self.
Right.
The knowledge of God. Learning about who you are. The contribution that your ancestors made towards civilization. Yeah. So me going to St. Aug, this was very important. I tell every person this, I never shared this. When you walk inside of St. Augustine, the most attractive thing about St. Aug is that it's named after a black priest. St. Augustine was an African man.
Right.
That's a fact. And going into St. Augustine, I saw a black Mary holding a black Jesus. That was important, brother. That was very important.
Yeah.
You go over there right now, you don't see that dome on the walls like you see us.
Yeah. Right.
And then another thing, one more quick thing about at St. Augustine, all the teachers looked like me. Strong black man that went to St. Augustine.
Yeah. And Andy Young, and I watching it last night, he was in school in New Orleans. His teacher took them on a civics lesson to the courthouse. Guess who he got a chance to see?
Who that?
Thurgood Marshall.
That was brave.
As a judge, as a lawyer,
Yeah.
he said, I looked around and seen a white judge, a white DA, everybody white, in a black man arguing. That made him want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Sight is very powerful. So when you saying that,
Yeah, as Quincy Jones said, you become what you see.
right?
You can't. That's what's happening. When you say earlier, Rick, about all you see in the environment.
Yeah.
So in our environment growing up, just think about it, brother. The lawyer and the doctor and the successful businessman, they left the community.
Yep. Yep.
So how you gonna reproduce anything in the community if you taking
you
your
can't-
knowledge and you left, and all we see is the hustle side,
Yeah.
Right.
street side.
Yeah.
But education was important, bro.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate
sir,
that
brother.
knowledge.
And-
So I know too, just from briefly talking to you before we actually started the interview, you had a few hiccups
Of course.
along the road.
Yes.
Which actually defined who you are even more so.
Man, yes, sir, brother.
How or why did you deter? I don't want to know the charges. I just want to know.
Oh, I ain't got, no, I'm telling it all,
like,
brother.
why did you deter from this promising, life that you had, into going to something that was out of territory for you?
What I think for how I detoured, first of all, I wasn't raised like that. That's number one. I didn't come from an impoverished situation of poverty. I don't even know what that looked like. Open up the refrigerator and no food was there. Growing up, each one of my siblings had our own cereals. I liked the Captain Crunch. My little sister liked the Lucky Charms. Everybody had their own cereal.
Yes, sir.
That's
They
how
had,
my
they had
mother
a
was.
little money.
So that's how I found this. That's my story. I can't
Right.
cap.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I didn't grow up coming home and whatever eat, man. And then seeing my mama going in and out different. No, man, my mother was with one man.
Yeah.
Till they both passed. So what deterred me is that I remember when my senior year at St. Augustine, I was about to graduate. I used to see this brother, two brothers in the design project. Really several of them, but one of them was Pal Thomas, went to Culver Wayne,
Right.
and got killed. And Eric Barrow, Dirty Red, and then Charles Robinson, WAP, my nickname is after him.
Right.
And some other cats, brothers. But Charles Robinson and Pell stood out a lot to me, and Dirty Red, Rahul, and Brown, and they stood out. So I used to see them, nice cars and jewelry. Then I'm getting ready to go off to college. Now Pell come to my graduation, not to get me in the street life, but he pull up in a nice car. So what deterred me, it wasn't because of some financial gain. You're right?
Right.
Because I was going to college. I was at Southern University of Baton Rouge.
Right.
This is a real story. I dropped out of college, and I think that I interrupted my own process for life. But then I say that God's hand had to be in my life of the detouring, Brother Rick, because it made me to try to be something that I knew I could never become. So I dropped out of college and got into the street life. And the very guy that went to my graduation started to give me drugs, started to teach me.
Right.
And I remember a conversation I had with him, and I told him one day that I was going to be bigger than him. He laughed at me, but I was serious. Because one of the things being under Dirty Red and them, in that detouring process, Dirty Red and them had values. Wayne had values. Brother Rahul them had values. You feel me? And so in the detouring, brother, I always say what they meant evil for me, God meant it good for me.
Yeah.
Because he had to have a hand on me. Because prison didn't produce Brother Hakim. No, anybody that go to prison do not become transformed, brother. I'm willing to tell you that right now. You can line me up against any brothers that are formerly incarcerated in the United States of America. You're going to be able to tell the difference when we open our mouth up.
Yeah.
You're going to know that you're going to say, that brother was on the yard hanging out, doing something he had no business doing. Now these brothers over here opening their mouth, man, they talking different.
Yeah.
They talking from knowledge. Look how polished they are. Look how clean up they want to be. Look. So that, in that detouring process, brother, that would deter me by seeing something that I didn't see across the canal.
Yeah.
Something that attracted me, shiny, the cause. And I fell in love with that project life, and them girls went to Culver.
Yeah.
That what got me. That what got brother.
We gonna
that
pick.
was all part of the tour for me.
We gonna pick up on this story right there. We gonna take another commercial break. It's sponsored by EraBodys Coffee. Welcome back, man. And man, this story, I just have a feeling Rick is gonna get better and better. Now, the Ninth Ward do have an influence. Rick will tell you that. All right, so George Washington Carver and the females or whatever. Boy, them Carver girls always did look good. I lied to so many of y'all because I told y'all I was gonna marry y'all, but I didn't marry none of y'all. So, so after that, the shine, and a lot of brothers fall into that. I don't think they wanted to be drug dealer. It just was the easy. It was the low hanging fruit for a lot of brothers.
It was more. It's social economics, brother. It's not that it's low or high. It's social economics. It's a social problem, a social deterrent when you live in an environment that is poverty and rich.
No, hold on. So
Yes.
let's say Desire Community Center. You've been there 1,000 times. I've been there 1,000 times too.
Yeah.
All right. If they would have had you coming out of high school, they catching them right out of 12, and they had electric programs that's telling you, look, you could do this, welders, this, that, and other. I see a lot of guys that came out, sold drugs, went to jail. Now they come out and doing the same thing, but it wasn't available. So when I'm saying low hanging fruit, that was the thing that could make me some money that was right then and there. But if welding was right there, electric was right there.
It was right there because I grew up before y'all.
Yeah.
So
I
y'all
did
had the
history.
trade
Carver had it. Carver had it too.
Sitting at college, you had it.
or the college.
Before it was Delgado, that's produced all the electricians, brick masons,
Senate College.
plumbers.
Right down
Louisiana,
Louisiana and
Oh,
Carver Way
oh,
now.
all right,
yeah.
all right, all
It's
right.
Delgado now.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
still sitting the name around there. But Sydney was the spot.
Yeah.
The barbering school. We had it. It was optional. It was not something that was put. See, when I was back in the Desire Project, brother, everybody in the Desire Project was not involved in street life, but had some great minds come from that desire.
Yeah.
Greatness come out of environments, brother.
Right.
It's just that for most of us, it was social economics. You talk to different brothers that you know that went to Carver, they got engaged in their life because of social economics.
Yeah.
And that's what it all boils down to. It's some social situation, it's coupled with some economic situation, and you don't have it.
So I'm gonna say it's social from an American standpoint because I don't say I grew up in a ghetto anymore because I've been to Jamaica. So if it's social, it have to be from an American standpoint because if you look at, they got people on Jamaica never had a roof on their house, a tin roof, never had TV, never had cable. The shoes you cut grass in, they'll take them and love them, and that's way poor.
I know, but Jamaica.
That's why I'm saying American.
Yeah, but no, not American. Jamaica in the Caribbean is poor because of the French and the colonialistic powers.
Yes.
That got Jamaica like that.
Right.
Crutch.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, we see nothing is by chance or accident.
Yeah.
Right.
Historically, Jamaica, St. Croix, all those different islands, Barbados, Trinidad, these people are still connected to France and Europe, still pulling the minerals from their land.
Yeah.
Right.
We just got to be honest. Caucasian people has always been usurpers on our planet.
Yeah.
Because they're not a native nowhere. It's just a fact.
Right.
But when we look at the ninth wall and the other walls of the city, and we see brothers who may be attracted to the street life, it's not more attracted, Honorable and Brother Rick, because of Rolex watch and cars. It's because of the condition of their family.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Let them break. Let that lion, like that other jaguar, that leopard broke out at the zoo, and he went on a killing spree.
He killed
right?
like eight
Yes,
animals.
right.
Animals.
So it's the same thing in an environment, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, they had a law when I was in prison. A brother told me this called the law of devolution. And he was saying in the law of devolution, it was showing that how you can take an environment and use some rats. This way before they came about with the concept of the project. They fed certain rats a good 3 meals a day, water, cold, nice water, Rick, good food. And then the other rats over here, they gave them 2 meals, less water. And then the rats over there with the 3, they kept giving them more. And the ones over there kept giving them less. Now they all was in the same environment. They wasn't fighting. But the minute they keep giving this side more lesser, this side became more killing that side because the social environment began to change. You were feeding them both up equally. They was cool. When you went to talk diminishing it. So it's the same thing in the environments we come out of, brother.
I could agree to
You
that.
know, so that's what that is. No one could say that it's not accidental that when the crack industrial movement came about, that cocaine base been around.
Right.
Richard Pryor was set on fire smoking free base.
Right.
Caucasian people with money used to call it free basing.
Yeah.
Right.
In our neighborhood, it's that hard or that crack.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
So on one end, it's positive, but when it comes to us, it's something negative. Yes, drugs is negative.
That's crazy.
You feel me, brother?
Yeah.
But back then, we had rules. We didn't sell drugs in front of young children. We didn't give drugs to no young brother Rick at 14, 13. You know, Dirty Red and them would rain me off the porch if I was at San Antonio. I'm getting in the game. Get your ass up the street. Pelling them, whatever. You feel me? So it wasn't like nothing like enforced on you, but it was social economics.
Right.
Brother. I saw it. See, when you grew up in the desire, it's different from the desire I saw.
Right.
I saw the desire. When I saw Tyrone Smith, Pastor Tyrone Smith, coming through there with that handkerchief and had a low verse saying, "Don't make me lose my mind out here." When I saw the drug dealer scatting and scared of him, the older ones, I wanted to know, man, who this dude is, the Lone Ranger? Coming through there. And he was a good dresser, long sleeve, rolling shirts, suede tonies, car belt, and then go sit on the step and be ducking. I didn't know why he was ducking. It was the drugs. I didn't know I was young.
Right.
So I saw the social problems that was in that problem, in that environment. And then they pulled it together. Because another thing that they don't tell you, y'all probably didn't know, y'all might have the stories, that when my grandma didn't have no more milk, she could go buy Rick grandma and get some more milk. And if I got out of line, Rick grandma whooped my ass, and when I get home, I get whooped my ass whooped. See, we had a cohesiveness. See, people try to put down a Desire, Saint Bernard, all the
projects.
Fisher. No, greatness could be produced in any environment when the right knowledge is injected.
Right.
So they limited with us with the right knowledge, brother. At school, education, when you went to Carver didn't give you no enriched knowledge of yourself. You might have learned about Dr. King. You learned about civil rights. Man, you didn't learn about the contribution that your people built. They didn't tell you at Carver, y'all built the pyramids.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just being real.
My cousin, my favorite cousin, Delton, shout out my cuz. He was going to Xavier University, and while he was in his class, I'm sitting in his car. I'm at Carver. I'm like in the 10th grade, and I'm reading a book that he got in there. I'm like, cuz, this is a good book you have. He said, D, you gonna be smarter than, and I'll never forget this, than everybody on this campus. He said, you know what? One thing that you do, you pursue knowledge. He said, they got guys on here that's gonna study, and they're going to take the test and they're going to put the book down. You reading for no reason. You don't have no reason to read this. That's pursuing knowledge. He says, so they're going to have a degree, and you may not have the degree they have, but you're going to be way smarter than them because you pursued it without something. Most our college kids and even high school, they only study not because they're interested in it. You just, I got to pass the test. I got to pass the test.
Exactly.
That's why I say they've been, you're right. They'll be in college, in school. First of all, if you notice, and it's not being negative, I'm putting schools down, but when you go to a private school, it's St. Augustine's or St. Augustine Collegiate or preparatory, meaning they're preparing you for something beyond St. Aug. See what I'm saying? So, but I'm not going to put one school over the other because all the schools together, I believe in my heart, give us a disservice when we are inside of 1 month. How you going to give us the smallest month, the oldest people on the planet get 1 month to display their contribution that they gave?
And it's the shortest month. And it's the shortest month.
That is by design because if one particular people is ruling and they are younger in their rulership, they're not going to rule with you on a playing field. They're going to rule you through lies and deception. Because if you knew who you were, he can't rule you no more.
You're right.
No one could be your master if you know who you are.
So it's all about power.
Yes, that's the only way they go and control power.
Yeah.
That's why you have all the churches with a white Jesus, everything white. This is not racial talk. This is radical talk. We got to be radicalized back into who we are, man. And people are scared to have these kind of conversations. When those people be scared because they're bought, Brother Rick and Honorable. I'm free. I'm not bought. I have no constitutional allegiance to nobody but God.
Yeah.
I ain't genuflecting for nobody, brother. Ain't nobody can say, well, I got Brother Hakim in his pocket, so I can guide what he gonna say. Not me.
Yeah.
And you think that
sir.
you hear this?
Respect.
You hear this with a lot of leaders, a lot of educators. That you hear this. They don't want to put what they have on the line because they did a little shucking and jiving. No, they got a skill set that they look at it like, I'm getting my check. I'm not about to waste. Even the guy that was at the event, I ain't gonna say his name, the celebrity guy, we got his number, and he said when he did a skit, they told him, he said he got phone calls to say stay out of that. But back then, when we came up, like you talk about, Muhammad Ali and the leaders back then, they was involved.
Yeah.
It was looked down on you if you just, what you mean? And you see the united of so many of our young old time athletes, celebrities got involved in certain things, and now today it's sitting on the sideline and becoming a cool thing. Like, stay out of that. How, if your family staying in Atlanta, Georgia, and they got a young prominent male running, you saying he's a great guy, I believe he could do the job, but staying quiet would cause him to lose, and the person that should not have the job get the job.
Because he was given a deal he can't refuse, and he sold his soul. What will profit a man to gain the world and lose your soul? See, everything that we do, brother, got to be guided by spirituality, man.
True.
See, that's what part of the deterrent for me.
Yeah.
See, so people don't know that we had a saying, we turned the cell into a classroom and the prison into a university. So I was like Paul on the road to Damascus. Prison was my Damascus, but I found God.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And it may be through a different pipeline that another brother, because I explain this all the time. For me, it was the nation, but another brother could have been the church.
Right.
2 + 5, 3 + 4, and 6 + 1, 0 + 7 is all 7.
Yeah.
It's all get you to the same mathematical state that you trying to get in.
Exactly.
Because we not gangbanging in religion.
Right.
I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm glad you brought that up. We had a pastor. He'll be on. We rescheduled him, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. All right, let's put it on the table. All these religions that they have, but black people still in the same condition and position that they're in. When Abraham Lincoln signed the false Emancipation Proclamation, black people own 2.5% of wealth in the United States. Right now, 2005, it's been over 400 years, and black people only own 3.5% of wealth in the United States of America. And we supposedly got all these religions now that can help us out. We got all the educations now. We got degrees galore. Why we can't change the position, and why don't the churches work together on certain issues to help us improve
Because
this position?
because once again, brother, in the 60s, the churches worked together because they knew who their enemy were. An enemy is a person who deprive you of the very essentials of life, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. He said, an enemy is a person who deprives you of the essentials of life, which is freedom, justice, and equality, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, food, clothing, shelter. This is a divine right that every human being supposed to have. Example, have you ever saw a black worm or a black bird asking a white bird or the green bird where their worms at today? There's nature. It's already in nature for them to go. Right? So in the 60s, something happened to us. And then the prison industrial complex, the music changed. Man, back in the 60s, we were saying I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin. They had different music. But this is by design, bro. We dealing with a well-organized enemy. The minister said it best. He said that an organized lie is more powerful than a disorganized truth.
Yeah.
We may have a truth, but we not organized,
Right.
brother Rick.
Right.
Honorable.
Right.
They're organized with their lie.
Yeah.
We found y'all in Africa on skating. We freed y'all. People from Mars built the pyramids. The Middle East is not in Africa. Israel and Palestine are different. That's Africa, Palestine.
Right.
Egypt is North Africa. Go on the map. You see what
They
I'm
cut through it.
saying?
Yeah, they cut
So it is purposely to dumb down you.
Yeah.
And we've been dumbed down this so much to get to your point to where you got to understand that all of the churches post the civil rights movement, they going through this process to be ordained by the very people that told them God was white.
Now,
That's what I was about to ask you.
Hold on.
In the
Go ahead.
But you can't
Hold
find
on.
nowhere scripture when you go look at the revolutionary preachers in the 1800s, the 1700s. Man, them brothers wasn't talking about they got ordained at St. Baptist Leroy Church.
But that's what I wanted to know. Back in the day, what church was they? I mean, what Jesus was they giving us? It was still a white Jesus, though, right?
So we'll peep this out. White supremacy is so powerful. So if I don't let you read, kept reading from you, it was a law to not allow you to read. First of all, let's just back all the way up to one thing. We never talked about when we came to these shores. You have a project called 1619, what is not the actual facts of us being here. Because
you believe here?
No, it ain't believe.
Belief
In the
record.
Washington Congressional Congress, when I went to prison, the Congressional Library, when I used to study the teaching of I found out in 1555 that we got it. Remember that show, the 64,000 question? What's 64 plus 1555 is? Put it in the calculator. What it is?
Go ahead.
What it leads you to? 1619. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Brother Rick. So those 64 years that it took to turn us inside out, rob us of our what we are,
You said
separate
16.
1555 plus 64 years. It's 1619, right, brother?
Plus 54 years. You say 1555.
1555 plus 64 years.
1555
Plus 64.
plus 64. 1619.
I know.
Now,
So it took 64. That's where the game came. Remember the game?
Yeah.
The 64,000 questions. It took 64 years to thoroughly rob her. So how many generations in 64 years? So that's the product you have today that can't get together.
And I always tell pastors when they say you're part of this generation, I look at him and when he say we are the chosen generation, and then I ask him, what generation are you talking about? Because a generation, according to the numbers, a generation is 25 and a half years. So when I'm explaining to them, but the Willie Lynch letter, Willie Lynch stand up in Jamestown, named after King James for whatever reason, but he said, we stand in a town of our honorable, our Lord. He talking about King James. Now I'm asking you a question. How can King James be your slave master honorable and you're honorable too? The Willie Lynch letter start off, just how it start off. We sit in a town of our honorable. So how my master and me gonna have the same worship, the same person?
But
that's
it
started. Yeah, that's when he read that letter. It started way before. But he helped them sharpen up their skills.
64 years. As you look that up, the generation, we was indoctrinated. Bro, you got to understand, man. And when you, check this out. When you rob of your mother tongue, we knew nothing about English. You let people say, we were speaking Swahili, the original tongue of us. And then you look at the movie Roots, it tell you who your God was. It tell you what you were. Noble Dry said it back, you are what your forefathers were. Man, we trying to denounce our forefathers.
Yeah.
You can't. So to get back to what you were saying, I know y'all got to probably go on a commercial soon, right?
Yeah.
So what you were saying is that you asked a bold question about the economics of how we cannot seem to pull nothing together. Is because we don't have an economic problem. We have a unity problem. We are disunited from the hymn, brothers. Disunity.
Right.
Man, something happened man, listen, the Holocaust, I don't knock none of that what happened to those people during that time when they was in Europe. But the Black Holocaust, what nobody talks about.
Not only that is, but
nobody talk about our
King
Holocaust.
Leopold, according to the numbers, it say 6 million
Yeah, of
Jews.
course.
But King Leopold, this is after their situation, killed 15 million Africans, and they
Before their
skip
situation.
they skip over that like
Because if somebody stole your garments, for example, they got a story. They say truth for y'all gonna. They say truth and lie went swimming one day. Lie let truth get way out there in the water. Truth having a good time. The lie got out the water, put on true clothes. True saw it, got out the water, and from this very day, we've been chasing that dressed up lie with the naked truth.
That's crazy.
I like
we
how
gotta
you put
chase
that.
that lie with the naked truth today.
Right.
So that's what we bringing to everybody. We bringing the naked truth.
All right. I want to go into, all right, since after you got incarcerated, you came to, you work in a juvenile justice center or whatever. What are you doing right now to, when you was in there, what program you was working on?
When I was in our federal prison, brother, like I said, the cell was a classroom, and the prison became a university. It means that, as Brother Malcolm said, that if prison is not the best thing, it's the second best thing to college. So prison for me was college. It's what you see, the environment. So I was able to educate myself. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't education like a book osmosis that came down. It was other brothers like yourself who empowered me, who enlightened me. But then something happened. Because you know, when you look at Paul on the Damascus, he said a light came down. So my light came down on me. I'm walking past the chapel. Brothers say, man, come on in. We watching this video of Minister Farrakhan. And the name of the video was Let Us Make Man. I went in there, and it like, in that room, it like he was just talking to me. Mm-hmm. And that I was being made a man all over again. From that very day, when I left out of that chapel, the lights turned on. I was never the same. I had a heavy dose of, regardless of what people say about that beautiful man. Because when a person says, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, I don't be mad with them. Because I agree. Mm-hmm. But when I say my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, I got a picture of mine who saved me. I got a picture of him in my mind. Right. I'm not walking around saying he saved me. I got a picture of the minister who saved me.
Right.
That's the closest of my Lord and Savior I'm ever going to get.
Yeah.
So after listening to him, he said, work on yourself, become responsible, accountability. And I fell in love with the 66 books of the Bible. Began to find us because the Bible like a compass. We lost up in there. I found us in there. I was like, oh, all the way from Genesis to Revelation. He wasn't telling me to be anti-Christian. I fell in love with my Christian brothers in prison. Had a beautiful relationship. They taught me a lot of stuff, right? Because you cannot be and sit in front of nobody today and you speak of your beginning or your Genesis osmosis as though nobody didn't intervene. No damn dictionary didn't make me wise. Right. Only thing a dictionary make you word conscious.
Yeah, right.
I got the knowledge of myself by reading those books the minister said for me to read. To a big VCR, I used to go watch the big VCRs. I'd be in the chopper every week. So moving forward, I began to educate myself. Then on the process of that, I learned institutional law. In prison, I learned federal law because I took a legal research class. Mm-hmm. Then I needed to find out what happened to me. The first case, a brother from Lafayette that taught me the law, he gave me this case called the Dred Scott case. Dred Scott was a slave. And then the Supreme Court said that the white man is not bound by law to respect a black man. When I saw that in the law, I understand what Noah Drali said, law govern events. And it does. That's the events been governing us today. So I began to continue to eat that diet. And I began to work out. I began to envision myself doing the same thing. So when people see me today, they're not like, man, I'm doing the same. Now, if I'd have came on with a handkerchief tied on the side of my head, talking about I was out my body, that's cap.
That's cap.
That's cap.
That's cap.
What you see me doing, I was doing that in there.
Much respect, man.
I ain't changing that.
We got to take another commercial break. Yes. This one is brought to you by Enhanced Financial Services, one of the greatest financial services in the world, or whatever. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, and to be enlightened by certain things that he's talking about. This is what our show is about. If you didn't know what we're about, we love knowledge from different generations. So if you look at this panel up here, if you didn't know, it's almost like 3 different generations. He would be my big brother and I go down to Rick. But when he lived, imagine how powerful Rick get to be because he have his older brother, his middle brother, passing all the knowledge down to him. And that's what life is about. So I want to encourage young brothers out there to get around some people that can instill some things in you, that can teach you some things or whatever. You don't know everything. You know what you know. So when you're speaking, you're telling the world what you know. When you're listening, you're learning something new. And that's how we know when they got a fool in the room. That's why we bow with grace and give him the flow to allow him to tell his story. Now we're gonna hop right back into the story. We went through the situation. We went to the Great St. Augustine. We went through the prison system. The light came on. Minister Farrakhan turn on the light.
Like they said, the lights got turned on. Like the light, like energy cut your lights out. My lights was out when I went to prison. They got cut on.
And I always tell people, I always ask guys this when people say the revolution would not be televised, I always ask people, I say, what that mean? And they'll say, well, the TV gonna go out and all that. I say, that's not what that mean, brother. When you change your mind, I can't put a camera and record what's going on in your mind. That's so right. When you was out there doing the wrong thing, when you was the same person, you just now you're not doing that. You still got a product. You supplying knowledge now. So in supplying that now, you still supplying a product, but it's a different product.
That's right.
So that's why the revolution would not be televised, because the changing of your mind start the revolution.
And also, the person that I was prior to going to prison still had the same potential, but I had a lot of rubbish on me. But the person that I became inside of the environment, that people don't believe you could become that, right? So the revolution wasn't televised for me. Because just like in the Bible, it talks about how Solomon was building the kingdom, the temple, and they didn't hear no tools. Now imagine, how can somebody be building a temple
right.
and they didn't hear no tools?
Right.
Because the temple he was building was his mind.
Yeah.
Right.
And the tools you didn't hear, you don't use. You can't hear no books.
Right.
You can't hear that bounce in that pen.
Right.
So that's how I was building my mind.
Right.
I was like reconstructing myself.
I
was practicing what I was saying I was gonna do.
And if
Change
we was
my
in
physical diet, my spiritual diet, everything.
And if we was in church, somebody would be yelling out, "Preach, pastor." So we got there, and now you're out. And what impact that the knowledge has hit? The light is on now. It's work to do once the light. When the light is off.
When I took Toastmasters in federal prison, you know, all of us is born with a gift, brother. So it was through the Lamar University. This lady named Miss Nichols, man, God bless Miss Nichols, because she allowed these people from the University of Lamar, which was close to a federal prison I was at, which was Beaumont Complex, allowed these people from Lamar to come in to establish our own prison Toastmasters Club.
You familiar with Toastmaster, Rick?
Yeah.
So, my girl go there. Candy go there.
So I'm a Toastmaster.
Yeah.
So listen, when I was in prison, we got to give an icebreaker. So the gentleman that was over, an elderly white guy, he with everybody left, he pulled me to the side. He said, "You're a natural." He said, "You was born with the gift of the gab." But I'm downplaying what God gave me.
Yeah.
But as I begin to rose, because every place I went in prison, I'm speaking without Toastmasters training. But Toastmasters just reaffirmed what other brothers like me was telling me from other prisons, that I still was looking down, because that's what we try to do. We try to stifle. Man, I ain't about to get out there and talk to nobody.
Yeah.
But then if that's your call on your life, you're going to keep being put in position. And so Toastmasters really helped me to really know how to be in front of people. And that I would have not had that training from Toastmasters, but being around those brothers in the nation that developed me. See, you can't be something without development.
Right.
So I can't. Right. So I have to be honest. You know, some people say, you know, I went to prison, I picked up 2, 3, 4, 5 books. Yeah, I might have read over 2,000 books, but them books wasn't more wiser than me.
Yeah,
you.
Human interaction.
That really developed me. You feel me, man?
Right.
So that's what helped me. And so getting through that process, man, I really knew that as I look back, man, God really had his hand on my life. Because of post-prison and getting to the post-prison, I was in the halfway house on St. Anthony, where all federal inmates go. So I told this lady named Miss McGee, beautiful. She went to college. I think she went to college. She was an elderly sister, nice, love her. She was my case manager. So I had a big brick. You know, I had a big old file, all the things that I was doing. I didn't have a file for stabbing. I didn't walk in there with no handkerchief on the side. That's cap. I've never displayed myself like that.
Yeah.
Right? I've been resurrected, so we don't act like that.
Yeah.
So the lady asked me, well, what are you going to do? Oh, since you come home. I said, well, you know, first of all, I want to teach life skills to young people at a juvenile facility. Man, that lady, she wearing them old little glasses. She took them glasses off her eyes, put them on the table. She said, what? And then I told her I wanted to eventually try to go to school, get my degree. So she was like, she said, when you going to go? I said, well, I'm going to find out. So this guy named Mr. Rogers got in touch with him, let me go to the youth study. And that lady came, the case manager. And to this very day, if you ever meet her, she going to tell you, Hakim was different. Right now at St. Anthony, and it's by the grace of God, it's not feathering myself. If a brother go to that camp and Miss Angela Davis does the employment, or this other guy, I forgot his name, he's a case manager, but he's a unit manager over there now. Even one of them was my professor. They told him about Brother Hakim. And you heard of Brother Hakim? And so as I began to go in this youth study center, I used to always have a cliche, how to escape the trap life.
Yeah.
So when people hear that,
Right.
man, I ain't invented the word,
Right.
but I invented the layout
Yeah.
and put it in with my story.
Right.
Everywhere I go, I gave subjects on that, so I used to go on a speaking tour. You know, I went to the youth study, I spoke at all the different schools, put on a suit, tell my story, kept telling my story, because my dad used to say, if you keep singing, somebody gonna hear you. So I'm still singing.
Right.
First, somebody gonna hear me, because
Right.
I'm not gonna stop singing, right? So then I meet Oliver Thomas come on, and he introduced me to James Carter. And so in the midst of all that, I'm working reentry. And I give a big shout out to Marlon Guzman, because he was one of the first ones to give me a job, a formerly incarcerated person. And I was one of his senior specialists, being one of his instructors going inside of a prison, giving hope to the men, but I'm teaching a curriculum, right? And then James Carter got me an interview with Rick Jarvis from the USA Today. I was in the USA Today newspaper, right? And then went on, you know, I'm just spanning it out. After speaking at all the schools, I went to Suno one particular time, met this man named Dr. Penny, and I talked to his graduate class on criminology and my story. So after class, he said, you know, son, if somebody wanted to make you a director of a reentry program, and they looked at your resume, and at the top, it don't have that you have no college education, he said, won't you come back here Monday and meet me and get you back in school? And I met Dr. Penny, introduced me to Miss Jones. Both of the Miss Jones, one was in a student, helped me with my book, but the first Miss Jones helped with my aid, got me in school, and the rest is history. Yeah. And I graduated from Southern with my undergrad in criminology, criminal justice with a focus in psychology. Yeah. This coming out of prison, and the statistics that people leave from any prison industrial complex is 4% of us that go back and get higher education. Right. My lawyer gave me that number.
Right.
He, you know, my brother and my lawyer, he was like, he gave me that, and I was like, man, I didn't know that. So after knowing that I could graduate for college, I had aspirations to go to law school. But what killed my aspirations is that the state of Louisiana does not allow a formerly incarcerated person to be admitted to take the bar. So I didn't want to get caught up in that. And so then I get hired as Ceasefire. And I was hired as a program manager, but at that time, the city didn't have enough funding to put it in the 7-Mile St. Rock area. So I worked under Jonas Nash, who is an attorney right now, and I was his research manager. And I respect Mitch Landrew because he allowed those of us who were formerly incarcerated person, the former mayor, gave me a job. Then the former director of the health department, Dr. Karen DeSalvo, gave me a job where I was the violence and behavior outreach coordinator in the city of New Orleans, a formerly incarcerated person. I didn't have the degree then. Yeah. That's what really made me go back to school, because I was around these individuals who, when we get, absent knowledge of self with a degree, man, you like a cup with no water in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was around people I thought had water in their cup.
Yeah.
They had no water in their cup. They just had a degree.
Yeah,
Right.
they just had a
And
cup.
they were trying to high sign that.
Yeah.
And when I got my degree and they heard about it, got quiet on the
Yes,
set.
indeed.
Now that I'm in pursuing my MBA, it's really quiet on
Yeah.
the set with them. Their cups really was empty.
Yeah.
Right.
They were just trying to dumb down me.
Yeah.
Right, and I say this a lot. Oftentimes, to our brothers and sisters that go get those degrees, the degree is a nice plaque to have or whatever, and you put the work in. But they got some people that just have it. It's God given. I have not been to college, and college has called me to come speak about economics. That's how good you have to be.
Yeah, but you gotta know why. Because you gotta understand that just because a professor is Dr. Jones and he teaching economics 104, he don't own nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Economics is about owning, so he just
Right.
teaching you a theoretical,
Right. Book.
Right.
The book.
linguistic of economics.
Yes.
You are a business practitioner.
Exactly.
You could tell a dude how to take some hot sauce and sell $1 around the city.
Right.
Yeah.
The man, Dr. Jones, is a tenure principal. He get a wage or professional salary
Right.
as a tenure, as a professor, teaching some great
Curriculum.
curriculums and stuff. We need it
Yeah,
too.
we need that too, and that's nothing wrong with them. But
Yeah.
the like you said,
he's different from you, bro.
it's an intimidation.
Most of them don't own that.
It's an intimidation when you get around somebody that's sharp. I love to see anybody and hear anybody's story. What you have, it won't diminish me. It's just another
Vice
strong
versa, that's
brother.
right. Yeah.
So when you say you're around people, and a lot of times it be us. I ain't never looked at nobody's resume. Some of the best drivers I know, when I had my driver license, I let them drive. They can drive 80 miles backwards. It was cold-blooded. I just had a license because I could pass the test.
Yeah.
Before it's driving, I'm not. That dude's better than me.
Right.
And if we about to go on and we need a driver to get away from a crime, I am not about to hop in the seat because I got a driver's license. I'm about to give it to the man that I know.
But also,
Right.
you got to put this into the equation: is that when brothers are out here saying that they are subject matter experts in the Pacific field, when you open your mouth, people see inside your mind. So you can't be out here talking about any Pacific realm of knowledge and you don't know what the hell you talking about.
Right.
Right.
You're not a subject matter expert.
Right.
But see, when you go into the college situation to be called back to go speak, you're speaking for what we call live experience.
And that's more than a college
You got
experience.
experiential knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
You could tell me what it feel like when they bank turn you down when you say
Right.
you about to open up a vending machine,
Exactly.
Purnell. You like the dude that's why I sent him that story, the guy from Raising Cane's.
Right.
Because he remind me of Honorable Purnell.
Yeah.
He stand at it. He keep at it. And that guy step at it out.
Right. Yeah, what you call him? He's
Yeah.
$26 billion. He worked
Yeah,
26
but he
billion
kept
now.
at
it. Yeah.
And what you just said is so important, and that's why I don't never call myself a guru. I told you I was at a speaking engagement. There's so many gurus up there. I stood up and said I'm a guru. And they were like, I ain't never heard that one. I actually do everything I'm telling you.
They already know gurus.
Yeah,
They
because
Some
I meet a lot of people that can pass a test, and then they think because they passed the test, you might got that certificate that say yes you did, but you actually have to do these things, and that's why I like his story, Rick's story. Rick is Level Up campaign on the ground working. He could tell you about that. They got some people that just I could do the paperwork for the grants behind the scene. They'll have a whole foundation, and you're thinking, how does it? We ain't out yet. We ain't got a ground team. They start raising money before they start doing the job.
Right.
So we was raised on the other end that you start doing the job, get recognized.
And the money come.
But it's a new game now. Somebody told me when they were schooling me, they said, "Nah, D, start applying for the grants." I said, "Well, how I know what to ask for?" But it was cold blooded though, and you got to learn. That's why it's different levels. He said, "Look at what they got on their paper. Do you want to be in that area and have some of the same stuff?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you put down that and you ask for the money before you do the job." And I said to myself, "You know what?
But
The Saints was playing. They built the Smoothie King Center before they ever had a team. So we built a center and then asked for the team. They built the center. knowing if they built the center, they can draw the team. So it was a different way that they made me look at it. And I said, you know what?
But the person that built the Smoothie King didn't build it by grant. They built it by their own money.
Yeah.
You know, so when people out here who may be doing nonprofit work, and that's why I told you before we went on air, with the sector of nonprofit, you have a lot of brothers that's out here hustling.
Yeah.
And when I say we got people from different entities, walks of life, saying they got a nonprofit, and they may do have one, and they could be in good standards, but the work is not lining up. Yeah. So I tell people, I'm like Walgreens and CVS, because I'm in business school. I provide a service for a specific fee. Right. I'm a consultant. You're never gonna hear me say, Brother Hakim, I'm opening up a nonprofit. No, now I don't knock brothers that have nonprofit, because like what you're doing, your nonprofit is really about doing what you say you're doing. We have some nonprofits who get millions when you're supposed to get the millions who doing the work, and they ain't got no receipts of the work they done. All they got is quantitative data, numbers. They ain't got no qualitative, which is the stories. Y'all got the stories. You and your family. So that's the difference, man. That's why I tell people, man, that's why this administration, bro, and we didn't saw previous administrations get these nonprofits all this money, and they're not helping the people. You know, if you're gonna have a nonprofit for teaching African American men around fatherhood, we need to be finding you doing that, and we need to see that there's documentation that you really put in the work, and we should hear some stories. My name is Hakim Kashif. I went through Darren program. I'm a proud father. When he met me, I didn't know what I got a story. But when you go on most of these, man, since I went to the University of Chicago, did that post-grad work, my eyes opened up around nonprofit sectors in America, because I used to tell them, man, you know, saving our people's lives ain't no hustle, bro.
We got another segment coming up called Do You Remember?
Do you remember?
Rick, do you remember?
Do you remember?
All right. Now, Brother Hakim, we take you back down memory lane and see if you was paying attention and do you know? We pick up things from television shows, TV shows, old events that happened, and just seeing if you was paying attention of what was going on at the time. Are you in or out?
I'm in, bro.
All right. I asked 10 people that's in your same age bracket, what was the most popular club in the 90s in the city of New Orleans?
Whispers.
That was number 2. I'm going to give you another answer.
Club, you know, Discovery, but, you know, they had a Club Adidas, they had Detour, they had Big Easy, they had Ambrosia.
Keep on going.
They had Big Man, they had the club, they had McGee's. Man, they had a lot of them, bro.
You missing this one. Everybody knows.
What's that one was?
Club Rumors.
Rumors was Discovery. That's the same
But
club.
they say Rumors.
Yeah, that's the same club.
Tell me, give me a story about Rumors. Tell me about Rumors.
I didn't, you know, Rumors wasn't really my spot. My brother used to like Rumors.
It was too dangerous?
No, it wasn't that. You know, I was a pretty boy, bro. Oh, man. My brother had goals in his mouth. I wasn't with that thug appeal, man. I liked the college guy. I went to Whispers, bro. I had a different segment. I liked the Whispers.
Yeah, my
and
cousin.
I liked them college spots, bro.
Right. My cousin, they was all getting ready to go to Rumors one night. I never forget this. This when the starter jacket came out. They in the Desire Project in the hallway. I was about to tell you. And they getting ready to go out to Rumors, Rick. Somebody, while they in the hallway smoking weed, somebody came with like 9 of them and robbed the whole hallway. And the guy that had the Saints jersey on, they hit him in the head with the gun.
No.
Back then, you didn't wear the Saints starter jacket.
They brought it right back there from the project.
Look, hit him in his head. They took all 8 jackets, and the 8-ball jacket was out. They took one of them had an 8-ball jacket, took the rest of the starter jacket, and hit the one in the head.
And left him with his jacket on?
It was a pleasure. Yeah, they let that happen on pleasure.
So, they was getting ready to go to Rumors, but it was so funny that happened. But Rumors was just it seemed like the place to be.
You know, you had people from all over the city going to Rumors. That was good. I've been in there, but I liked it. Whispers.
What was the difference?
Whispers was I ended up being in federal prison with the guy who had Whispers, but Whispers was a different type of crowd when I left the street. They had different nights. They had different venues of music they played on different nights. So I used to like Whispers, bro. But I wasn't really like, and I could count on my finger many times in the club. Club wasn't really my scene, bro, because of the things that was happening in the 90s, bro.
Right.
You get caught in them clubs, man. You might get kidnapped or something, bro.
And in
So
'94, in '94, New Orleans, when we led the murder rate, we had like 400 and something.
Yeah, I was in prison, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 400 something. It was real bad. The project was really the project.
But it wasn't, but I tell everybody too, Brother Rick, but it was not murder. All murder is wrong, but it wasn't like today with a lot of young people getting killed. Those murder was dealing with the trap life.
Yeah.
Right.
The gang, drug dealing, robbing. It was around that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember what event that took place on October 16, 1995?
Man, come on, $1 Million Man Mo. We locked the federal prison down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
the whole prison was seeing that. What? And we
It was
made
televised, right?
Yes, we made the whole prison fast. Yes.
So walk
We
me
followed the
through it.
whole.
How do it come about? I never looked into it. How do it come about that
Where
the
the minister
nation
was
said?
going on? No, the minister went on speaking to men only, and he was just having a speaking, and he had an epiphany. God put it in him. I'm gonna call $1 million men to Washington, and then when it left out his mouth in the speak, then it wrapped around it. But it was really about reconciliation, atonement, reconciliation, responsibility, and getting black men to reconcile our differences, atone for our behavior, and be responsible as black men. So he went to speaking on a speaking tour to all different places. So while we was in federal prison, we knew the $1 Million Man March was coming, right?
Yeah.
So they had a warden named Mickey Ray. I respected Mickey Ray, all white warden. Very respectful of all the communities in prison, because we don't call it religion, we call it communities. So all the communities came together, the Moor Zion Temple, the Sunni community, the Christians, the brothers in Rastafarian, the different, whatever the community were. And we proposed the same guidelines that the $1 Million Man March, that the minister outlined, that we fast from sun up to sundown. And the prison had us with our food, gave us a bag, gave us everything we need. And in that prison that we was in, there was over 2,000 men. You could hear a pin drop. The Bureau of Prison thought that it was going to have riots after the $1 Million Man March, but it didn't. It made men more responsible, right on to their families. It made people reach out to brothers and sisters they haven't reached out to. Some women that they ran messed over, they reached out. It was more
Correcting their wrongs.
Yes,
Yeah.
man. And that led a real movement inside the federal prison industrial complex.
But it's crazy that the word traveled to the prison so fast.
Man, they get to the prison faster than the streets.
It do.
That's
Rick, what do you?
said.
I know you was young. The $1 Million Man March. When you
I
heard about it,
I heard. I don't even know or remember what I heard because it was so long ago that actual history was being
How old
taught.
are you?
I'm
95.
In '95, I was 5.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
You could go and listen to those speeches on YouTube.
Yeah, well,
You
I'm gonna
should.
definitely do that. I
You
am.
should,
Yeah,
brother, you
I
should.
am. But history, after 5 years old, that's when you really remember as much as you're gonna remember about
Yeah, I don't
certain
remember
events.
too much. 5
You
years
know
old.
what I'm saying?
the march, like I said,
Did you go?
No, I was 10.
yeah.
5 years older than my brother.
Yeah.
It was a blur.
Mhm.
It was a blur. I didn't. I heard about it. Everybody was saying, and they was mad because Tupac just got out of jail and he was on Odell Drive instead of at the march, and they knew that's not the normal Tupac. Tupac was a conscious brother. He come from the fruits of people that would have been at the $1 Million Man March or whatever, but he was in jail. Suge got him out, and he gave him some money. He was on Odell Drive
That
or
was
whatever.
a different Suge. That wasn't the same Suge that was Digital Underground. Now, that was
No, you talking about
that-
Tupac.
No, that'd have been Tupac Shakur. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
but if that'd have been him, he'd have been at the $1 Million Man March.
Yeah, no, that's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
So he was a clone?
No.
No, he wasn't a clone. He just had,
it-
being around a bad example of
Okay.
people.
So when you heard about it, that's what it was.